Hello, everyone out there in MASL land. I'm pausing because I know exactly what you're thinking. This is not MASL Insider, and no, I am not Phil Levanko. In fact, no need to adjust your settings. Phil, ironically enough, is on vacation right down the road from where I am in beautiful Los Angeles, California, as he is preparing for the Showcase of the Immortals, WrestleMania 39. Now, of his few choices that he had for today's show, a lot of them fell through. He couldn't get his choice of Phil A, B, C, or D, so unfortunately he had to settle for Phil E. Yeah, that other loud guy from Queens, New York. Now that that's been established, welcome to the most controversial show in the Major Arena Soccer League. This is Under Review. My name is Philly, and I am here with the head of MASL Official, a title that he has held since 2011, Mr. Ryan Cigich. Ryan, good afternoon to you, sir.
Hey, Philly, how you doing, buddy? Good to see you. I'm glad you're able to fill in here.
Even though I wasn't his first option, I'm glad to be here. It's an honor. I'm a huge fan of this show. I and the doctor, I can say, have learned a great deal, and it's pretty cool being on this side of the fence. Our first voyage takes us to the Pacific Northwest, Tacoma, hosting the Dallas Sidekicks. The play we're going to be describing to you, we have a blue car on the field for an apparent handball. Roman Torres is heading back home to a certain extent. On the restart, he's Tacoma's Correa. Ryan, walk through this video review and this reversal.
Well, yeah, Philly, like you said, it's a free kick attacking restart. The defender comes off the line and then slides in contact with the ball. So I think we've got to determine first here where the contact is. Is it his chest or is it his arm/hand? And if it is the arm, then which arm is it? Because if you can see here from the video, if it's his right arm, well, that's tucked into his body. Therefore, he's not making himself bigger. That would be no handball. If it's his left arm, then we could also potentially define that as a support arm, as we discussed, I believe it was 2 weeks ago. That means when a player slides, he is permitted to support his body with his arm, and there are scenarios where that would not be a handball even if there's contact. So this one goes to VR. I think it's another great example of VR working properly, and it's determined that the ball actually contacts the defender's chest. So the blue card was reversed.
So I myself had to watch this a couple of times. Did you catch that right off the bat, or did you too have to watch this review a couple of times?
I had to watch it several times.
Okay, I'm glad I'm not the only one then. All right. Our next play, we stay at the Assessor Showwear Center for our next video. In this play, we have Felipe Souza, who absolutely picks the pockets of Isai Romero. And then on that play, there's a trip, a Smurf card, a.k.a. a blue card. Was the trip to Smurf Village well warranted, Ryan?
Well, I believe it is. I mean, that gets possession of the ball. The attacker there breaks free, is off to goal, and then just tripped from behind. It's a correct call, in my opinion, for a blue card 2-minute power play call there by referee number 22, Snyder. And the next determination that needs to be made is this a shootout? Man, we've talked about shootouts a lot this season, so everybody should be very well versed in the shootout rule. This one is from behind. The attacker has possession of the ball, but if we stop the play just at the time that the trip is made, you can see that the Dallas defender there in the midfield, he might just be level with the play. So in my opinion, it's not clear and obvious to award a shootout. We make it, we say it needs to be a obvious shootout. This one is not, so they go with just a free kick.
Got it. And a well-warranted trip to Smurf Village for Isai Romero. Now, from the Pacific Northwest, we go to the exact opposite side of the country, this time to the RP Funding Center in Lakeland, Florida. Utica City versus the Florida Tropics. A tightly contested match. We've got a foul in the box. And as Florida's broadcaster, Brian Ackley, says, you can call that a blue card. What do you say about that, Ryan?
Well, what do you think, Philly?
All right. So my quick thought would be, yeah, I think it would be a blue card. I mean, you have the arms are underneath each other. It looks like it was body contact and a pull that led to the foul. But you're the head of officials. I'm just a guy with a microphone.
Okay, so this one we've got the ball coming in to Jelovic, and I want to remind everybody. I mean, if he's not he is one of the strongest players in the league. I mean, I think the guy's as strong as an ox. So we have to determine, how does he go down? He is being held from behind there by the Florida defender Jones, just inside the penalty area. So a couple of decisions here to make. Is it a foul? I think it is. He definitely is being held. This one should have been called a foul for holding. But the next decision to make as the referee, is this a, quote, simple foul, or is this a penalty kick, which also has to be a blue card 2-minute power play? You can't have one without the other. So, my opinion on this, I don't think it's a blue card. I mean, one, the severity of the foul isn't there because it's not reckless. You could debate that the hold is blatant enough that it should be, but, in my opinion, I'm not so sure about that. And then secondly, does the foul deny an obvious goal-scoring opportunity? And I'm not sure that even if he wasn't held, he would have a clear goal-scoring opportunity on this particular one.
It's fair enough. You said it. Bo Yelovich looks like he could play in the NBA. I mean, he's a big dude. Big shout out to Big Bo. All righty. Now we move from the RP Funding Center to the friendly confines of Cable Dahmer Arena. The Harrisburg Heat are in to take on the Kansas City Comets. Fourth quarter, with the seconds winding down, Danny DePrima gets put in the bin of sin, fistful of jersey, as Nick Vasso stated, holding the official call on Junior Kazim. I'm not a referee. Doesn't look like there is anything controversial here, Ryan. I don't think there is.
No, this is kind of run-of-the-mill. It's a blue card for denial of a goal-scoring opportunity. It's another good example of that. Pretty textbook one. It's a foul from behind. Kansas City attacker has possession of the ball. And then any time that you see that shirt extended away from the body, as a referee, we're trained. We really have no other option on a scenario like this one to award a blue card 2-minute power play.
Absolutely. And sticking with another one at Cable Dahmer Arena, all the action down with Nick Vassos and Eric Bergrud. Lucas Souza trying to make a play, but the Harrisburg keeper, Grant Glorioso, gets whistled for a handball outside of the box. I think Captain Obvious makes another appearance on this play. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree as well. I mean, the goalkeeper is just a bit out of the penalty area, makes a save, contact with the ball. There's really no question there. And this one, by rule, anytime the goalkeeper handles the ball outside of the penalty area, unless, of course, he handles it inside first and his momentum carries him out, that's a simple foul. Not the case here, but anytime he handles it outside, it's a 2-minute blue card power play and a shootout, regardless of the position of the other defenders, as we've talked about in other scenarios. Different with the goalkeeper.
All right, off to Bruce City we go. Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Crack yourself open a cold one. Milwaukee Wave versus St. Louis Ambush. We get a challenge flag that gets thrown out by Milwaukee, looking to see if Paolo himself commits a handball. This one is really, really close. Tough to gauge at first. The question is, did the officials get this right?
Yeah, I think they did. This is a really tough one, like you said, to make in real time, because as the referee, unless you're really standing in line with the top of the penalty area, it's going to be really hard to determine this. And as you noted, the question, does Paulo handle the ball outside of his penalty area? It's not called during live play, so it goes to VR. And the camera angle from above the arena, the high one, I think it's pretty clear that he was just slightly outside the penalty area. I think this is another good example of why we have VR and it's working correctly to get a call right.
Loving the video review. I mean, sometimes you live by it, sometimes you die by it, but it's such an integral part of this game, I think, going forward. And I don't think we could have games without it going forward. I mean, I'm happy that we don't anyway. That's just my opinion.
I agree, Philly.
All right. And last but certainly not least, we head down south of the border to Arena Monterrey. Flash versus the San Diego Sockers. I believe the call here, too many men. I'd say this is another job for Captain Obvious. What do you think?
Well, we got a couple things going on here. As you referenced, the first thing, we have a potential or possible too many men violation against San Diego. I'll get to that in just a minute, but we also have what is a really dangerous 2-foot lunging tackle by Monterrey. I mean, this one, if you look at it, even though he goes through Escoto just a bit, it's a really dangerous tackle. In my opinion, this is more than just a blue card. Borderlining on red. A red card, I think, would definitely be supported. Our rules of 2-footed tackles are automatic. There's no options for the referee, even if the player gets the ball. So this is one they call the blue card on. Let me go back to the too many men. I think it's pretty clear here that San Diego has 6 players on the field. It's more than just a sloppy line change, in my opinion, where you have somebody coming out just a little bit early before his line mate is off. We have 6 players on the field here. So this is a too many men violation, and it was called correctly during play.
So for a neo, my bad.
No, sorry, Phil. On this particular one, then we would restart with the 4v4 because the too many men penalty is a power play that would nullify the power play for the 2-foot tackle.
Okay, that would be my next question. For a neophyte just getting into this game, which one would you put the emphasis on? And I thank you for clarifying that.
Absolutely.
The interesting thing about this week's worth of calls is nothing too crazily controversial. And I might have to say, maybe I'm lucky for being on the show with Phil being here in LA. Nothing too crazy this weekend. Would you call this a business as usual kind of weekend?
I think it was a bit of a calm week, quite frankly. But, I hope you didn't just jinx us. We have 4 games tonight and then several pivotal games also coming up this weekend.
That's right, down to the wire, and you got to catch a flight to San Diego, and I got to catch a car ride to Ontario. So I certainly appreciate taking the time to come in here. I certainly appreciate you allowing me to be on this, and want to say shout out to Phil for letting me fill in. Don't worry, this isn't one of those Wally Pipp moments, Phil, and thank you for dealing with me as well, Ryan.
Hey, great job.